Hello, beautiful souls. I hope this video finds you well. Welcome to The Void by Shin Dynasty. Welcome if you're new, if you're a returning tribe member, welcome back. So I wanted to take just a few moments here today to speak to you all about the importance of staying in the moment as much as humanly possible. I know that this concept, this practice is easier said than done, and it does take a lot of practice to make this a habit in one's life. But I want to speak to you on not only a spiritual, but on a logical and practical stance about this, how important it is to stay in the moment. Every millisecond, every thought that we're having is literally, we are designing our future. 1 minute of thought creates an outcome for the following minutes, hours, days and weeks of your life, and on and on and on. We're constantly creating new realities, okay? And whenever we find ourselves fluctuating, say that we're really high up and feeling super positive one moment, and then the next moment maybe we get triggered or something happens and we're angry, or we're just really sad or feeling down. Those peaks and valleys of our emotionality create parallel realities, okay? We're creating new timelines. And so the importance is that the reprogramming of the brain, when you are being triggered, say you're watching the news, or you're dealing with a particularly difficult family member, or something has occurred within your friend group that's causing you, anger or disappointment or whatnot. The key is to shift the mind, okay? In this present moment, yes, this situation has blown up. It's put me in a state of anger or sadness, anxiety even. But I'm not going to allow my brain and my emotionality to stay with that issue, okay? Yes, I will take the steps to solve that problem, the practical, logical steps to solve that, but I will not stay within that vibration energetically, emotionally, and in my mind. I'm going to shift to something positive that brings me joy and brings me peace, okay? And when it's time for me to step in and solve that problem, I will take the practical, logical steps towards solving it. But emotionally, I will not be residing within that issue. I hope that makes sense to you, the way that I just described that. So staying in the moment, and let me describe this to you first. Normally, most of the time, maybe all of the time, but at least most of the time, if you're experiencing high levels of anxiety, it's because you're living in the future. It's because you're worrying about things that could happen but haven't yet occurred, and may not occur if you're able to shift out of that, that space, right? So you're not calling these things in that you're feeling anxious about. So I want you to really think about I want you to observe what you're thinking about when you're in heightened states of anxiety, okay? Because most often, if you're feeling anxious, it's because you are worried or you're anticipating things that have not occurred yet, okay? And you can see how problematic that would be, living in the future constantly. For me personally, this was really difficult for me because I am a very technical minded individual and I am a planner, and I'm always trying to think 10 steps ahead, and I'm always weighing out every possible outcome that my little brain can conjure so that I can be prepared for anything that would occur at any given moment. It sounds exhausting saying it. Yeah, try being me. I know that there are a lot of you who can probably relate to that way of thinking, that way of processing and moving through space and time, is by always trying to be ahead, that, and that is problematic in the way that moving through life in that manner puts us in a position where we're giving our power away, because then what we're really saying to ourselves by trying to always stay ahead and trying to, okay, now if this happens, we're giving our power to the world as if things are just randomly happening to us all the time. Where when we step back and we really look at that, we're like, oh, actually, well, I'm creating my reality. I'm the one with the power here. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that never in your timeline will something seemingly randomly to you happen. Of course, that's part of it too. But most often, the majority of your timeline is created solely by you in the here and now. It's created by what you're thinking right now, how you feel about what you're thinking. Okay, because that's what you're calling in. That's what we're all calling in. That's how we manifest, okay? So it's really important to stand back and step into your own power by understanding that the future is what I want it to be, is what I'm creating right now in the here and now through what I'm thinking and the emotions that I'm pumping out, because that's a vibration that we're sending out. Okay, this isn't anything mystical. This is science. Okay, we are energy. You can observe our energetic fields. You can see it. We have the scientific instruments to back this up. This is not some kind of hocus pocus stuff going on. Okay, so this is measurable, okay? So with our emotions, which is our ability to have emotions, and the fact that we are emotional beings is one of our superpowers. That's why it's one of the pillars of manifestation, okay? This is why we are considered to be quote unquote special, as humans, because of our emotionality. Our emotionality is what makes this experience unlike other experiences. Okay. Okay, so this is why staying in the moment and not living in the future is so important. And we're going to cover the past too here in a minute. But because in the here and now is creating your future. Okay? So instead of conjuring up in your mind all of these things you think could happen in your future, which then you're placing those scenarios as probabilities, okay, within your timeline, you don't want to do that. You want to be sure that whatever's going to occur, whatever the outcome of the next minute, the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year is going to be a positive outcome, then in the here and now, you need to be thinking of things that bring you joy, and you need to be in a positive emotional state, no matter what's going on around you. Again, easier said than done, but this is something that is to be mastered over time. We have to practice this every single day. We have to become very, very aware of our thoughts and our feelings, okay? Because the brain and the heart, when you can connect the brain and the heart to work together, that's where the magic of life is. That's when you really start manifesting some pretty cool shit. Okay. Really great situations in your life. You have just some amazing outcomes that are even beyond what your little brain, could muster at that time. So again, reiterating that if you're dealing with a lot of anxiety, it's most oftentimes linked to living in the future. The future has not occurred yet. Okay, if you want to ensure that the future is good, then you need to be focused on right now, the here and now. Okay, because that's going to sure up your positive outcome for your future. Okay? Okay, I hope you can understand that. I hope I'm telling you this, giving you this information in a way that you can understand. If you have any questions, or anything like that, please put them in the comments section, because I'd be happy to do a more in-depth video about this at a later date. Okay. I felt called to get this information to you now. So we're just going to briefly cover it. Now let's talk about, we just spoke about the importance of staying in the present, because in the here and now is creating our future. We are creating our future right now. Okay. This is why staying in the present is so important. You want to be mindful of how you're feeling and what you're thinking right now, because it's impacting everything that's to come. All right. Now let's speak briefly about depression. Oftentimes, most often, depression, if it's not specifically linked to a chemical imbalance, okay, because there are different forms of depression. There's depression that is created and manifested in very different ways, okay? Most often, depression is linked to living in the past, okay? That's where that defeatist mentality comes in, of drudging up and thinking about, past traumas and, or thinking about past disappointments and this and that, and why did this have to happen that way, and why did they do this to me, and why did this happen to me, and I don't understand, blah, 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 and it goes on and on and on, okay? If you've been alive longer than 2.5 seconds, you've probably been through some shit in your life, yeah? So we can all relate to going through traumatic events, because there aren't many people walking on planet Earth who haven't experienced trauma in their lives. That's something that the majority of everyone that you come in contact with, we can all relate, okay? Now, the problem with this is that the event that occurred within your life, whether it was an event of abuse in any way, shape, or form, a major letdown, a disappointment, perhaps someone very close to you completely lied to you and turned out to be someone that you don't even fucking know who they are. But they are not who you thought they were, okay? Being completely betrayed, things of this nature that many of us go through these types of events in life from the time we're very young all the way through adulthood. So what I want you to understand is that when that event occurs, that is a specific point in time. Every moment after that event, you are creating the next moments. Okay? Now, what I want you to understand about this is that when a traumatic event occurs in your life, in that moment, the moments after that traumatic event has passed, that traumatic event is no longer present. The event is not present. Okay? Now, the emotional downfall, the the mental process from you trying to make sense of what just happened and how to move forward, well, that is what lingers. The event does not. The event itself. Now, that event happened in that point in time within your timeline. And that event can never be relived again. That specific event. Now, the importance of gaining control over the mind and the emotional body, especially as it pertains to letting go of the past, is shifting into a new way of thought, a new paradigm, and understanding that in order to ensure a brighter future, we have to let go of what has occurred. Because when someone comes into a depressive state in the present about something that had already occurred and is not occurring currently, that person is, stay with me here, is taking that emotion and that mental process when the trauma occurred and bringing it, imprinting it into their present. So you're literally dragging negativity that has already occurred in your life into your present life where that trauma is not currently occurring. I hope you understand. You can understand. I hope I'm saying this in a way that you can understand. Okay? So this is what people mean by carrying a lot of baggage with you. Okay? The baggage is the emotions and the negative emotions and the negative thought patterns that had occurred at the time of your trauma. Okay? And in the moments after that traumatic event where you're trying to make sense of everything and trying to figure out a way forward from what had occurred. Okay? So in the present moment, if you're allowing your brain and your emotionality to travel back in time, you are creating an energetic link to your trauma for your present to your past. And you're pulling that negative energetic signature into the here and now. Stop fucking doing that. Okay? Stop it. It is hurting you, and it is messing up your current state, your current timeline, to where now you don't know what your future outcomes will be, because you're in the here and now where you're not in that trauma right now, but you're trying to bring all the energy of that trauma forward with you. Okay? So you can see the problem here, right? And you can see easily when it's explained to you like this, why depression occurs the majority of the time. Who the hell wouldn't be depressed if, you're in the present and you're safe right now? If you are safe right now, I know a lot of people aren't, but, if you're probably listening to this on YouTube or Patreon, you're probably somewhat safe right now. So if you're safe right now, in order to secure your safety for the future, you must be focused on the fact and giving gratitude towards the safety that you're in currently, okay? What you don't want to do, oh my God, these beautiful, huge raptors are flying, soaring right in front of my window right now. Oh God, that's so beautiful. Wow. 3 of them. Oh, wow. That's spirit saying hello right there. I love that. And that there are 3 of them too. That's wonderful. Beautiful. So here's the deal. You can see you can see why it's so important to leave the past in the past, right? Whenever trauma occurs, it is an opportunity for us to learn. People hate hearing that because they're like, are you kidding me? This happened, it ruined my life. No. It's only going to ruin your life if you stay in that, okay? If you stay in that thought pattern and if you stay in that emotional energy, that's when it's going to ruin your life. No singular traumatic event has the power to ruin your life. You have the power to ruin your life by bringing that trauma with you everywhere you go. That's how the life gets ruined, okay? The traumatic event is only a traumatic event. And I don't mean to say that in a dismissive way, saying, oh, it's not a big deal, because it is a big fucking deal. I can, relate to trauma very well. I mean, I've suffered trauma that I probably shouldn't have survived, logically or practically, should not have survived. I understand trauma very, 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 very well. This is why I'm educated to speak about this and healing, because I've healed from my own trauma, okay? So I am telling you all how to go about this, methods that actually work, okay? So when a traumatic event occurs, we are receiving information, okay? It's our time to learn. Now, what that information is unique to the person and the situation, okay? If that trauma is abuse related, perhaps the lesson within the trauma that we are supposed to extract from that experience and take forward with us, not the pain, not any of the negativity, but the lesson. Perhaps the lesson is to uncover our own strength. Perhaps the lesson is to value ourselves more. Okay? Perhaps the lesson is, hold up now. There are people walking around with ill intent. Not everyone is trustworthy. So perhaps the lesson within that abusive event is discernment, is follow your intuition, is keep your eyes and ears open, is pay attention to how people are behaving around you. Pay attention to how you feel about a person, how a person makes you feel in their presence. Be very aware. Lesson learned? Okay? And these are never lessons of punishment. These are lessons to progress us and advance us. All right? Pay attention. Keep your eyes and ears open. Pay attention to how you feel around a person. If you get, that gut feeling that the person's no good or a situation could pop off, to distance yourself right away. Don't question yourself. You know what to do. Okay? And perhaps the lesson from that traumatic experience is you're stronger than you think you are. Something just occurred to you that you thought previously, if this happened, you wouldn't be able to survive it. But here you are. Okay? And sometimes we go through traumatic events in order to prep us for helping to guide people through those types of events at a later date. We are going through a situation in order to collect the data to really truly understand what's happening on a cellular level in order to be able to break this down, deconstruct this, and then help others to move past this in the future, which is part of the reason why I've been through the gamut of trauma, because I contracted in to help others. And if I'm truly going to help people, these are the types of things that you can't read about this in a book and then, be able to really get on that level with people and help people on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, on a physical level, mentally, emotionally, to move past and actually really heal from trauma. Okay? So my trauma is very purposeful. And what I'm telling you is that everything negative that's happened in your life is very purposeful too. Your job is to find the purpose, find the lesson within the thing. Okay? Because it happened for you. There's a gold nugget in every ounce of trauma that we've ever endured in our lives. And it's our job to uncover that gold nugget and take the gold nugget with us, but not all the shit. Okay? You leave that where it happened. All right? Because it's not going to serve you one bit to drag that with you. You got to let it go. Cut the baggage loose. Okay? Cut that energetic tie to the past. Because that instance will never occur again. If you carry that energy and that emotionality with you while you're manifesting every millisecond of every day, you're manifesting all the time. So if you're holding on to that energetically, emotionally, mentally, then you are calling that experience to you again, just through a different person or through a different set of circumstances or in a slightly different manner. You understand? This is the other reason why it's so super important to be able to, rectify this in your mind, to leave the past in the past. Listen, that happened. It was really, really shitty. I didn't think I was going to survive that, but I did. This is what I've learned from that experience. I've learned to trust myself more. I've learned to value myself more. Okay? I've learned to stand in my power. I've learned that I'm a lot tougher than I think I am. I learned that I can handle some pretty heavy shit in this life. And what that does is that takes away a lot of my fear. After you endure so much trauma, there's really nothing to be afraid of anymore, right? And that can really work to your advantage. So I want you to shift into a higher mind, a higher way of thinking, a higher vibration as it pertains to your past, any kind of negative situation whatsoever in your past. I want you to shift to a new paradigm and see it for what it really is. Okay? Not for what society is trying to train you that it is. Oh, we need to keep focusing on this. You're hurt as a child. I want you to keep talking about it. I want you to keep thinking about it and all of this and on and on and on. And yeah, it's going to affect you for the rest of your life. No, it doesn't have to affect you for one more moment in your life, but you have to make that decision. Okay? And I just told you how to do it. Now you have to put it in practice. And it's not going to be overnight. This is going to be a practice that you put in place. So whenever you're aware that you are thinking of the past and that you're feeling negative emotion because of that, because of reliving it, because of trying to pull it into your here and now energetically, to shift. You observe it. I understand. I see that you're there, but this is done. Okay? I learned from that. It is no more. It is not happening in the here and now. In the here and now, I am safe. In the here and now, I have everything I need. In the here and now, I am at peace. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. Okay? And you just shifted, boop, into a different reality right then, just by speaking that into existence. You shift your thoughts, you shift your emotions, and bam, bango presto, you're out of it. Okay, you're out of the past and back into the present. So every time that the past is trying to haunt you, trying to come back up, that's what I want you to do. It's like mental yoga, okay? I want you to strike a pose, all right? And you're going to keep doing that and keep doing that, and you're going to stay aware, and you're going to train your brain and your emotionality to be present, and to be at peace. Okay? And this isn't a thing where you're shifting into a position in life where, oh, nothing bad ever happens. We know bad things happen. We've lived them. We understand, we're aware of that, but we don't have to live in it. Okay? And we damn sure don't want to be creating it for our future, do we? No, we don't want that. So we're not living in that shit. Okay? Been there, done that. It's time for the good life. And we know that we have the power to create a great future for us, for ourselves. Okay? And that's what I'm teaching you to do. All right? This is going to take work, and it's going to take effort on your part, because it's not easy controlling the mind. Because we've all been programmed to think, first, that we don't really actually have control over our thoughts. And second, nobody teaches us how to take control over our minds and our emotions. Okay? Most of us aren't taught these things. But I'm teaching you today. You're welcome. So anyway, so just to round this out, remember that in this moment right now, you are creating your future. If you want it to be a positive outcome, then you have to be pumping out positivity in the here and now. Okay? You can do that through affirmations. You can do that through an attitude of gratitude. If you need to shift very quickly out of anything negative, then you shift into an attitude of gratitude immediately. I'm grateful for X, Y, and Z. In the here and now, I have everything I need. In the here and now, I am safe. In the here and now, there is peace. In this moment, I am okay. I am okay. All right? So, anxiety, oftentimes linked to living in the future. Depression, oftentimes linked to living in the past. The goal is to live in the present, in the here and now. In the here and now is where we are. Okay? Nothing else matters or even exists anymore outside of this moment right now. All right? So please practice mindfulness. Please be focused on yourself, on how you're feeling, what you're thinking. Okay? And redirect whenever necessary to ensure a positive future, a positive outcome. Okay? All right, beautiful souls. That's all for right now. And like I mentioned before, if you have any questions, you want to dig deeper on these topics, please feel free to post your questions in the comment section, and I would love to answer them and perhaps even do another video taking an even deeper dive on all of this. Okay? All right. Shin Dynasty sending you much love. Bye.